now going to the St. Francis CSI Church. It's very much important historically also because this is the church where the body of the legendary Vasco da Gama was buried. And now it is known that this church was built in the year 1503 by the Portuguese. Still, it's so beautiful. Historically also it is very enriching and even visually too. The historical church of St. Francis, I've just come out of that and just came to know that the mortal remains of Vasco da Gama has been transported to Lisbon, to a monastery in Lisbon. His son himself had come down to this church to take the mortal remains back to his own home country. But still that atmosphere, that mood of 1503, that early 16th century is so much prevalent inside the premises of the church. One interesting thing about the streets of Fort Kochi is that its names are very unique. Most of the names take roots from Dutch, French names. You're going to see some different kinds of names. For example, I'm just walking through the Peterselli Street. This is the signboard. It is Peterselli Street. I hope I have pronounced it right. There are so many other kind of streets. Like to my right, you can see the Princess Street. Yeah, that is the Princess Street. So most of the streets take its name from some Dutch names or French names. So that is why, actually this whole place is almost the first European township in the country. Now, as I am taking a stroll, I just came to know that here is the house of Yeshudas. That is actually the house built by Yeshudas' father for his mother. Right now, house of Yeshudas is owned by his brother and not by the singer. But now this has been converted to a hotel. And an interesting part of this is that on the top floor, you can see a restaurant that is built by none other than our favorite star Dileep. So it's called Dileep's Restaurant and it's Dileep's Mango Tree Restaurant. Actually, this whole house has an interesting thing. It's built around one mango tree that was planted by Yeshudas' mother himself years before. So this is the facade of the house of Yeshudas. Even now, Yeshudas visits this place every year. Kochi is so full of churches, and now I am at one more church that is one of the oldest churches of our country. That is the Santa Cruz Church. This is a construction that was built in 1505 by the Dutch, and by 1558 it was later converted to a cathedral, but now this is also elevated to the level of a basilica. It was in 1798 that this church was destroyed by the British, and after a period of 100 years, this cathedral was later rebuilt, it was reconstructed, and now renovation procedures are going on. Kochi might be the hub of fashion and technology, but a look into the Fort Kochi will make you realize that its roots are so much erected in tradition. We just had a look at the different sites of Fort Kochi, and unfortunately we couldn't get into many of these monuments because photography and videography of any form is strictly prohibited here. So we could not give you a glance into the interiors of many of the monuments, but still you did get a feel of how this beautiful place is, with lot of history and lot of beauty in it. So I am continuing my journey. Now I'm gonna refresh myself with a tall glass of watermelon juice, and after that I'll be continuing my journey and you're gonna join me too. And this, with all those beautiful scenes I offered you in this episode, I am signing off. This is none other than your Kirti Ramachandran signing off from Travel Guide.